everybody. I am Conquering History Games, and welcome back to part 2 of my Democratic Republic of Spain campaign here in Hearts of Iron 4, La Resistance. Hold on a sec. Having mic problems. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, fixed. So where were we? Right, we were going to try to get to the actual start of a civil war in today's episode. So I'm going to probably start making my way through some of these things a little bit faster than I have been. What's going on with the music? It sounds so low. It's a lullaby. It's Happy March? What's going on? Music's not really coming through. Oh, there it is. There we go. Our happy march to war. And I think I will just throw us all the way up to, to the frickin' CE, to the 5 speed, just so we can get moving along here a little bit quicker. They're challenging influence in some more of these various areas here, and every time they grab one, we're just gonna grab it right back, except for when I want to do concessions to the left to increase our political power and, more importantly, our stability. So there's certain areas that are going to pop out anyway. I'm just trying to minimize it. And I do kind of wonder if maybe there are some areas of Spain that I just want to let go, maybe a little pocket, so that they can then just fail horribly when the time comes. Very weak right here. So you see, I actually should have waited on that one so I could have done the concessions to the left immediately. They're doing things like negotiating some Carlist support. I have no intentions of changing the leader loyalty and stuff. If they want to go, the scum can go. The fascist scum can leave, and there's the door. Let's pick up the radio. I'm certainly going to need that in the days to come. Alright. Yeah, gotta get this stability up a little bit. Still just at 19%. Not looking too nice. Alright. Now we've got the civil guard there. So having the national police force on our side, of course, is going to be quite helpful. Now this is something that goes against what historically happened, as do most Paradox games, in the sense of what it is that I am trying to do. You see, there was quite a bit of violence, of course, that was popping up after the start of the Spanish Civil War. A huge wave of violence across the entire country. Hold on a sec, let's first train the Union youth so then I can talk about it while things move. Rumblings of disloyalty emanate from the military, and we must be prepared for the worst. We will provide crash courses in the use of weapons and basic military tactics to the dedicated and committed portions of our younger supporters, so that they may be armed at a moment's notice should the worst happen. It's going to make the communists a little bit more popular. And we need to get this music a little softer again. Okay. Upon the start of the war, gain 5 well-trained units with 3 infantry battalions, and those will go away after the Civil War. We're not going to get to keep all of our stuff here. Anyway, what I was talking about is concedes to trade unions. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so one of the big reasons that there was so much violence, particularly in the Republican territories, well, it happened in both the Republican and national territories, was that there really wasn't any sort of a functioning police force, certainly not a court system at all. Let's do the concessions to the left. Afterwards, so it's really in the first 8 months of the Civil War that you're seeing a lot of this internal fighting, a lot of stuff by ordinary people, not really government violence, more like stuff that was happening in these relatively isolated rural communities, villages, things like that. A lot of this has been described as symbolic killings, because it's not that, I don't know, and I'm not a psychologist, certainly not a group psychologist, but wait a second. What do we want to do here? Let's grab, what am I wanting? Right, superior firepower. I kind of want to get it. Yeah, because got to get that 10% attack quickly. But this is just a way that I've personally seen it explained. Is there's a lot of anti-clerical violence against priests, nuns, things like that, and something like 7,000 members of the Catholic Church were killed in the first few months of the war within Republican Spain, and I've read a lot about how some of this was symbolic violence, like this lashing out. Well, I don't know how symbolic that goes, but it's like that's why you kill not just the priest and the nun, you kill the person who rings the bells at the local church. Just really wild stuff. Okay, definitely cannot. Whoops! Wait a minute. Cannot let them get up. What's going on here? There we go. Yeah, I do not need them getting a hold up here in the north. Got to avoid that. I think I talked about how the north defected over to the nationalists during the Civil War. So that's, of course, something we're going to need to avoid as much as possible. We could do some more concessions to the left. That puts us in debt. But we're going to get another 20% added to the national strike modifier. So right now we're at 1.32 a day. That's going to just take us up to another level. All right, next up, enlarge the weapon caches. Ever since even before the 1934 Asturias miners' strike, this needs to be written better. Weapon caches have been covertly established throughout the country in preparation for the inevitable need to defend our liberties with military arms. In these times of crisis, we would do well to enlarge them further. Now, this is also something that was really true, because even when the Civil War began, there were people even on the side of what we would call the Republic who still were themselves anti-state, anti-government control, because they saw the state as a group, as this organization that's just responsible for military conscription, that's responsible for their persecution, for especially if you're a union worker, who are part of direct and indirect taxations, and things like that. So you had these it's these kind of weird factions. I'm not sure how you would describe them, because they were sort of anti-government rebels, but they would fight against the nationalists. You see a lot of this in like the Northeast, of course, and sort of Aragon and Barcelona, that area, but also even in the South, in rural areas, you had these collectives that would form. And then we're talking collectives in the sense that they were collectivizing their local industry, their local agriculture. And it was the trade unions in these areas, as well as radical party committees, that were actually the ones who were responsible for setting up the local militias for like their own personal security, and not the finally we can imprison Primo de Rivera. So this is going to give me 5 stability and 25 political power. So he more than pays for himself, which is nice. So that's a lot of what was going on in the area. Oh my god. Yeah, because I think they get, if I remember correctly, they get bonuses in some of these certain areas. Jesus, they have gone so freaking hard in the north. Oh man. I need to think about what I want to prioritize now. Don't want to... Yeah, I gotta stop them from taking control of some of these areas. So, you know what? I'm not too concerned with this area here, the Galicia garrison, if I could get my hands back on the Leon one, but I don't see how I'm gonna be able to pull that off in a reasonable way. Right. We probably shouldn't do any more concessions to the left, though. It's not really gonna pay for itself. It's gonna take 37 more days. Oh, and I don't even get bonuses from it anymore. I thought, did they already patch that? Maybe people were only stacking that up. Okay, distribute arms to the people. Disloyalty in the military is now all but certain, and it is clear we cannot rely on them to defend the values of the Republic. We should begin disseminating arms to those who carry the best interests of the Republic at heart, so that they may form the first defense against a possible rebellion. And I don't think we're going to finish this. Revisiting the colonial policy. Are we going to see a communist UK? I think we might be heading that way. Yeah, that's what's happening. Interesting, and yet I'm going democratic. But as we talked about in the first episode, historically, it's not as if the UK helped us a lot anyway. Shoot, if they're communists, they might help us more. Okay, what's the priority? Ciudad Real. If we can get Ciudad Real, we could we'll have totally isolated. Oh, they're challenging me down here, though. No, we could still get that back. Okay, so let's get Ciudad Real. This will totally isolate the Sevilla garrison. So this was historically an area that the Nationalists managed to get charge of. But I also don't want them to take Guadalajara. Yeah, the key here is going to be isolating. It looks like, wow, they're going so hard in the north. I was not expecting this. Okay. Let's do this. We got to isolate these southern ones. Okay, not what I thought was going to happen, I got to say. Very interesting. Anyway, what was I getting at? Something about... Oh yeah, that the communists were gonna... Maybe they'll help me more. Who knows who makes the world? Come on, come on. I'm clicking, I'm clicking. There we go. Okay. Right now, when the war starts, we're going to get 52 divisions. They're going to get 63. I don't know if I talked about that being there. Oh, that reminds me of another thing I don't think that I talked about. I really, really, really like this filter system that they have over here that'll show you different focuses, like what different focuses mean. So obviously this is something really big, and maybe you're somebody who... This is going to be terrific for whenever, like for mods. I can't wait for when you're... Okay, I've got my new nation. It's a modded nation. I'm playing Equestriate War or Kaiserreich or something, and I don't know. I want to work on this or that, but I don't know where to start. So you can do something like click. Okay, where's the industry focuses? So okay, over here it looks like I generally get industry stuff faster, as opposed to if I went down this path and I'd have to come down here. There's car list issues, and you could like set it up so that both things are there. But okay, car list issues, that's over here. That doesn't really concern us. Research bonuses. But then let's say you want something really specific, you could just type to search, and you can search by name. So of course you could do Stalinist. Yeah. So there's the Stalinist doctrine. And then you hit tab on your keyboard and it'll take you through them all. So we have the Stalinist doctrine over here, subvert the Stalinist, communist. But like, for let's say, I went, okay, I want something that's gonna, I want something that's going to help my popularity, or so let's say popularity. That helps a little bit. So like I can look, okay, way down here, I'll be able to get 10%. Over here, that's for communism, that's for communism. So there's not a whole lot that helps the Democrats directly. Not good. But you could do anything. Oh, I want an infantry equipment bonus. So infantry. Yeah, over. Okay, not there. Oh, right, because it's giving me the. How about this? If I go more specific, equipment. So over here, equipment modernization in the focus tree. 2 times 100% research bonus for infantry weapons, and just things like that. So I just think this is really cool. Spanish Civil War specific stuff, and also when you just hover over it, it shows you what the things are. I think this is terrific. It's not something I had ever thought of before, or even heard of this idea of being able to filter focuses that way, but I think it's awesome. And you know, as before, you could zoom in and out with the mouse wheel, but I do like that you can now click for people who do not have mouse wheels. Okay, let's actually start making some factories now in Madrid. Try to get the industry up a little bit more. We're going to need to get some key encirclements over early. That's what's going to make the big difference in how this goes down. So might as well hold on to this political power because things are just about to jump off, and dang it, they're gonna have the influence in the Granada garrison before things can actually get started. Damn shame. So I don't know, like we could try, but I don't think it's gonna work this way. Yeah, they're gonna get this in a second. Yeah, they got more influence in Granada. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Stop! Stop! Freeze! So, yeah, I shouldn't have even tried to get that one focus. So, a lot of things going on here now. First things first, I've said we are going to maintain the Second Republic. The rebellious military has not succeeded in its coup attempt, and our government maintains its ability to rule in freedom. The Second Republic shall prevail against the threat of the right, just as it prevailed over the miners' strike in 1934. This is going to give me 60 political power, more war support, and it will activate the mission, the impending anarchistic uprising, which is an important thing I will talk about later. But first, the Spanish Civil War. At exactly 5 a.m. this morning, precisely one day after contact was lost with the North African garrisons, a well-prepared... wait, hold on a sec. Let's see here. Okay. At exactly 5 a.m., a well-prepared military operation was launched all throughout Spain with the intention of gaining control of all government institutions and strategic locations in the major cities. Major parts of the Army, Navy, and Air Force have ceased responding to government orders, while concurrently, Carlist militias have revolted in the north of the country. Complete success of this attempted coup has only been prevented by unofficial people's militias, who through quick action have managed to retain control of many of the targeted locations and cities. Despite this failure to meet their initial goals, however, it seems unlikely that the insurrection's leaders will give up their strong position as willingly as they did in 1932. With neither side appearing inclined to compromise, the path lies wide open for the current situation to escalate into a nationwide civil war. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. I should know this right now. So the first thing will just automatically go through depending on which one we pick. So it's going to get rid of a lot of our national focuses. You can just pause and read it there. We're going to have a disbanded army, lowering our division attack, defense, planning speed, max planning, maximum command power increase, and our daily command power multiplier. We get the national spirit, death before surrender, which is going to pop up our surrender limit. Basically, it's like before, we're probably going to have to take virtually every single tile in at least continental Spain in order to win. We're going to what else? Nationalist Spain gets the same thing, and the non-aligned party will now be called the Confederación Nacional de Trabajo / Federación Anarquista Ibérica, which is a whole annoying thing, because I would absolutely not call the CNT-FAI non-aligned at all, and it's just another example of why you need to get more ideologies in the base game. You've got to have some subsets or something. Like Kaiserreich does it, Führerreich does it. Who else does it? There's plenty of others. And or at the very least, you need to put them in with the communists, because Equestrian War has done that. Equestrian War has maintained the 4-party system, but they do still have subsets. You can try to set up some sort of modifier if you want to show that the anarchists don't want to work with the Soviet Union. Give them a modifier with just the Soviet Union, or give them some sort of modifier. Call them splitters, whatever, I don't care, but just to show that they have some sort of negative opinion bonus with Stalinist-style communism. That's just a pet peeve. Anyway, it's okay, I'm going to drink a little bit more of my beer here and feel better. Oh, this track is so good. Letters from Home. Okay, let's organize things. Well, I was considering for just half a second there abandoning the north, but we've got quite a few divisions up here, so no need to do it. We've got to be careful that we don't lose these boys. Alright, so in terms of our generals, I was thinking about going with Jose Miaja for our field marshal, but we've got Luce. I think this guy actually only pops up he only pops up after the war, after the Civil War starts, but he's got Republican loyalties. This leader is loyal to the Democratic Republican government. There's other modifiers here, so we've got Stalinist loyalties, for example, and I think there's specifically anti-Stalinist loyalties. So it's a communist. This person's a communist, but not a, you know what I'm saying. So we're gonna make our field marshal this guy, Vicente Rojo Yuche, because it's Spanish, so it should be pronounced Yuche. Alright, there we go. So, unfortunately, unlike Equestrian War, for example, there is not a little bio here. But he was the chief of the general staff of the Spanish Republic for the duration of the Civil War. Was kind of up there in years at the time. I think this might be too young looking a picture, because I think he was Was he already in his 50s? I think he might have been. But funnily enough, his father fought against the Carlists. But it's the Nationalists who are going to have to deal with that. But he was an infantry officer, somebody who actually went to the military academy, so that's why I suppose they gave him the brilliant strategist thing, because he had been to war school and things like that. Also was Catholic. Not every Catholic fought for the Nationalists. And in fact, I believe that there were some incidents where his loyalty was questioned because he had ties to some sort of conservative political association. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name, but basically he was a big part of why the Spanish army was able to get itself together well enough to at least survive those first several years of the war. And probably his most famous thing was the Ibero offensive, which took place in 38. Didn't go very well though, because that was sort of the end of the Spanish Civil War. But it wasn't the end, obviously. It still kept, because that happened in 38 and the war kept going until 39. But it was one of those things where it seems a little bit controversial, because some people say that the reason why the offensive went poorly was that Yuche wasn't given enough control over the military. Anyway, the point is, it was called an offensive, but it was really defensive. It was an offense-defense kind of thing, because like the Republic was trying to take back land, and it just didn't really work out. But let's talk about the more interesting guy who I want to use up here, Jose Miaja. Jose Miaja was another officer who fought during the Spanish Civil War. But what's kind of interesting about him is, as we talked about earlier, there's all these different factions. So we've got Nationalist Spain, and of course within Spain, you've got the communists, you've got the socialists, you've got the official government forces, you've got all these little communes that are running around. And he was a part of... Wait a second. Hold on. I'm trying to think if I'm mistaking him with someone else. Oh, shoot. Let me look at the generals again. Yeah, I think it was this guy. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to get to is that Jose was actually, or this guy Jose here, Miaja, was part of an insurgency against the socialist government of Spain when the socialists were running things in Spain. And they ended up coupping the government from within, and that's what kind of directly, in many ways, leads to the nationalist victory, because they coup the socialists and then they negotiate the end to the war. All right. Anyway, I've talked quite enough. Let's. Okay, so we've got these guys down here. We gotta get organizing here, and this might just be a short episode, and then I'll make tomorrow's episode longer to make up for it. Just because I don't want us to fight for only a few minutes here, you know. Sort of extend this up. Do I want to... Yeah, we're going to try to get the full 24 here. I like this new split thing here. Okay. Go with the yellow, because of what we are. Get rid of this teal. Or actually, yeah, keep the teal, but just do it maybe like that. Oh, much better. So much better. Okay, so that's 24, and we've got an infantry officer here, right? Yeah, we've got Garcia, infantry leader. So there, we've got 36 divisions up here in the north. Now we need to... The good news is a lot of these guys are isolated at the moment. I'm surprised that they didn't take Sevilla. The nationalists did, because it's my understanding that it's never going to look exactly the same each time when the war breaks out, but that they've tried to weigh nationalist Spain to want to try to convert areas that they historically took control of. And earlier, we were talking about the communes and some of these cities, And basically the Nationalists had a lot of trouble taking control of major urban centers because they were unionized and they had organizations, committees, things like that they were able to put up a defense. But probably the biggest city that I think it was Sevilla that the Nationalists were they were able to successfully quickly gain control of, because when the coup happened, the general who was in charge of the garrison here sent that garrison not after government forces initially, but after the local union workers. And so he had a force of over 5,000 men, so he was able to put that down before it was a problem. But, you know, I guess it's supposed to always be a little bit random. Anyway, how many leftover divisions do we have? We've got 16. I believe they're all in the south, right? Okay. So we're going to tell them to get assigned here, but then I'm gonna, I'll just need to micro this a little bit. We're going to do some things like this, try to isolate them. Unfortunately, they're around population areas already, so they're going to, well, this one's not, so this one we could kill. Murcia, looks like Murcia, they've got somebody here already. Mine is a weaker template, but if we can get in here, we could take them out, but it looks like this actually, I think, is going to be, this is a nice setup for us. Especially if we can maybe cut down here, isolate Galicia. I'm kind of torn because part of me wants to run for La Coruna, but I think if I come down here, then I can just isolate. Tough choice. Okay, because this guy's under the Stalinist Modesto. Give him a nice deep red. Okay. Don't have just enough to... Who should get the bonus? He should. Yeah, let's give him Ambusher. Right. 16 to 1. What's supposed to be, they got like 63 divisions, right? Alright, well, we've got a lot of excess equipment, so we can decrease that really fast. And like I said, if we can get some quick encirclements, we'll put them on the back foot. Now we've got 21 factories. They've got what, 5? Actually 8 if we count the dockyard. But wow, that's awesome. Okay, good. We did good work with that, being able to hold on to some of these areas. That's great. And plus some of these factories are, well, I think actually they don't have access to any of these factories, but very, very good. So yeah, if we can get some early encirclements, I think they're going to run out of equipment very, very fast. So now let's talk about, it kind of gets a little blurry when it zooms out, you see? All right, so let's just figure out what my first focus is going to be. We don't have the political advisor for the Carabineros. This guy requires our political advisor, Indalecio Prieto. He's our Democratic guy, I think. Where's he at? Here he is, yeah. Voice of restraint, daily democracy support increases, as does stability. So that will let us get 1 unit with 3 infantry battalions in 5 random states, but I can't afford him right now anyway. I could pretty quickly. Ensuring loyalty will just give me more stability, which is nice because I'm only at 2. We've got new leadership, which will give us available. It won't give them to us, but it's available. We'll get 5 stability, and we can get Jesus Hernandez Tomas, who could increase our research speed. Not very good. Although on the other side of that is the 200 political power. Over here, we can do this as long as we have control of País Vasco, which is that's Madrid. Oh no, wait, no. Which one is? Where's that at again? Oh shoot. My knowledge of Spanish geography should be better than this. Here we go. Yeah, up here around Bilbao. So if we do that, yeah, the Basque region possesses vital industry, must be better defended, expanding the army raised by its local government should go a long way to fortifying the front lines here. That would give me 6 more units if we can get that. But there's a problem because then this only goes down to fortifying the Iron Ring. And then that's it. And there's some other stuff down here I think we might have to deal with, which I will talk about in the next episode. So in the next episode, the fighting is going to start for real. Hope you're excited for it. I sure am. And I will see you then. Please be sure to subscribe if you have not already. And have yourselves a wonderful day. Cheers.